Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles Sabanson, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we'll give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we have a hell of a show in store for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. So what happened? Yesterday night, I was just kind of relaxing, and I was just kind of combing through the internet, kind of looking for things to work on for the following day, just looking for stories. And I came across a clip that was recommended to me from KG Certified, his YouTube channel, the show that he does with his former Boston Celtics teammate, championship teammate, and Paul Pierce. Now, if you know anything about Kevin Garnett and his show with Paul Pierce, they're very raw, uncut. They swear, and they basically speak. I'm assuming they speak. It's like having a camera lens into them, their regular lives when they're having regular conversations. I get the sense this is really authentic show, because I don't think KG is faking it. So they were there talking about various things around the NBA, and then Paul Pierce brought up the Lakers. Now, if you know anything about Paul Pierce, although he's from California, he does enjoy seeing the Lakers suffer, right? He does enjoy seeing them suffer because he played a good amount of his career with the Boston Celtics. He won a championship against the Lakers. So whenever you see him on TV with him and oh my God, what's the guy that he's Keyshawn, they're always up there and they're kind of fighting one another, and Keyshawn is like, oh, you're a Laker hater and all of that stuff. So Paul Pierce kind of has that thing with him. So they're talking about the Lakers, and Paul Pierce is just basically like, you know, this year should just be basically about LeBron James and Bronny James. They should trade away AD and just make it about that. And KG's like, are you sure? Like, I don't think that should be the case, blah, 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 blah. So while they're talking about that, the conversation then veers off to start talking about JJ Redick. Now, as you guys know, we're not a fan of JJ Redick on this platform. I've made my feelings 100% clear. Everyone knows where I stand on as it pertains to JJ Redick. And one of the reasons for that is because JJ Redick seems to be very rude. He acts like a know-it-all. He goes up there, he starts swearing in press conferences, walking out. I'm like, this is just very unprofessional. And he came into the NBA season that believing the hype that he was going to be the next Pat Riley, and somebody served him a nice slice of humble pie. And it turns out the Lakers pretty much are as good as they were last season, right? He wasn't going to work signs and wonders with the Lakers. So as they're talking about that, KG then starts to critique the way JJ Redick communicates. And he starts talking about his communication, and then he decides he actually goes on to warn JJ Redick about the way he speaks to NBA players and the media. And I'm like, this would be something very interesting to really talk about today. But before we even get into what KG had to say, today's video is brought to you by our sponsor, PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports with over 10 million members. PrizePicks makes it easy to get real money action on the sports and players you love. You pick more or less on at least 2 for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. For example, this week on PrizePicks, I'm looking at the upcoming NBA schedule and selecting Stephen Curry for more than 29 points and Kevin Durant for more than 27 points and Anthony Davis for more than 12 rebounds and Luka Doncic for more than 8 assists. If you're like me and you like to play it safe, you'll love PrizePicks' new feature, Flex Plays. It's the safest way to play. You can still cash out even if your lineup isn't perfect. Plus, you can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. On top of this, PrizePicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money as quick as in 15 minutes. So download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what we want to do now is want to play what Kevin Garnett had to say about JJ Redick, and then want to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to Kevin Garnett here.
So the one thing I love about the in-season tournament is that it does give some incentive. You know what I'm saying? Like if you know, you're just not playing another game. The Lakers didn't look interested in those blowouts. They looked like they wasn't there to play basketball. They and it starts, obviously, like P said, it starts with your main players, but your main players came out and was like, so yeah, I don't want to say this because it's very early, but JJ Redick got to be very, very careful of choice of words and like I always say early on in any relationship, it's fragile ground till things get a little more solid or you get used to something. You know what I'm saying? I can remember, me and Pete been friends for a long time, and we played when we was younger. But when I got to Boston, obviously we were both different. We had both led teams, and we were in different positions. But we were both very conscious of the posts, meaning that, say like when we have scrimmage, and say like, I know he likes to reject on baseline, so when I would run up and it ended up being a thing that we came together, but by coincidence. But I didn't know he likes to take his time first and then call for the pick and then. So we're always conscious of that, even as friends. When I go over his house, so like when you know your friend and you kind of go, and as we get older, I can say certain that probably nobody, I'm saying in both ways. Right. I'm saying that to say that when you get to a certain point of familiarity, man, I feel like those first couple years is very fragile. And you got to get to some hard ground to where you're like, you know what? Okay, I feel confident I can say this to P now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And man, when you come out, words are very powerful. Man, we didn't play with no energy tonight, and in those lines, I'm not verbatim saying what he was saying, but I'm listening to how he's saying it, and the message is clearly at me and you. Mm-hmm. It ain't at Connect, it ain't at nobody else. I would feel more like if you poured this in the room, like, hey, look, I need y'all to start better. Right. And that's what Pete talking about. It's not just, hey, look, you go up here go the lob, come on the backside. It's more like hey, man, Doc Rivers did a great job of understanding his players. And what I mean by that is I'm saying on October 12th or October 11th, we already knew.
P not coming to
practice. P
not
going to be around the 13th, 14th. So you know what? Whatever's going around the 12th, 13th, 14th, or 15th, we're going to give him a little lay room. You know what, owners, this is what we doing. Hey, Ed Lacert, the trainer, this way. Hey, Bidu.
They like, where P at?
Don't worry about it. Okay, look, next play. You hear what I'm saying? You gotta, it's a player management. It is a player-coach relationship, and you got to be on the pulse of how that's going and where you at in that to be able to speak a certain way. But I won't be surprised if you're like, hey, I'm going to say this about you guys. Hey, ain't really then go out here and say it. You know what I'm saying?
But like I said, this year is not about winning. This is about Bronny, let's develop Connect. Let's see what we got to start building toward the future. So you heard what Kevin Garnett had to say. What are my thoughts on this? Well, look. As you guys know, the Lakers just won a game against the Memphis Grizzlies. And the thumbnail, if you go look on the internet to see the post-game interview of JJ Redick, he's up there smiling. And he's smiling, obviously, because he's happy that the Lakers won. But whenever you look at games or interviews after the Lakers lost, it's a totally different thing. He looks distraught. He can barely speak. He's always rubbing his head and his eyes. He's confused. And to me, it shows that there's a lot of emotional instability there. And when you're the head of the Lakers and you're a head coach in the NBA and you're dealing with a turbulent environment, you need to be the one that is most relaxed. It's not to say that you can't go behind the scenes and reprimand your players and scold them and go off. No one is saying that. But when you're in front of the cameras, you need to be able to be more even keel. There are times when JJ Redick is being questioned by the media and he looks like he can't even speak. And to me, and I think a lot of people, that's surprising because if you listen to JJ Redick on TV, he had a lot to say. He was up there criticizing Doc Rivers, talking about this guy and accountability and all of that stuff. That's what he was saying about Doc Rivers, a championship coach. Now, Doc has had some low moments, a lot of low moments with blowing these leads that he's had in the playoffs. But nevertheless, Doc Rivers is a coach of tenure. There have been some pretty good coaches that come from under the Doc Rivers umbrella. Ty Lue's one of them, who's also a championship coach, right? So when you're out there saying those things about Doc, people sit back and say, well, let's see how you handle it. And I think Kevin Garnett is beginning to notice that. The other thing I like is JJ Redick is no longer off limits. Because for some time, JJ Redick seemed to be a no-go area. Some people were afraid to call out his name, but when it came to Darvin Ham, people didn't have an issue with that. So now I'm happy to see that people are calling JJ Redick's name by name, because he's the Laker coach. He signed up for it. He's getting paid millions of dollars. And if the coach isn't doing his job, you need to call him out. Period. End of story. No other coach gets a pass. Neither should he. Now, there's some coaches that may get a pass, but they're proven. They have a track record of winning and consistency at a very high level. And if you don't have that, then I don't think you should be exempt from criticism. And I'm glad that Kevin Garnett is pointing that out about JJ Redick, about his communication style. And it's something that he's going to have to learn. And given the fact that there's a learning curve in any job, but especially this one, it would have been better if you're a little bit more humble and less critical of other people that were doing the job like you were of Doc Rivers. These are my thoughts. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comments section. We catch you guys on the next show. Peace.